I've been a professional luthier for over 30 years, and the biggest killer of great guitars is humidity, and that's really hard to do because when we look at these, is this right? Is this right? Or is this right? In today's Q&A, we're actually going to talk about all this so that way your guitar doesn't get ruined. So let's get to the question. What's my favorite fret wire size for classical guitar? And I know that a lot of you have asked this, and I have prepped. This is one of my favorites. This is actually my go-to right now, which is the StewMac 155, which is equivalent to, or very similar to, the Dunlop 6290. I believe that the 6290 is a slightly wider fret, but about the same in terms of height. My small fret is the 148, which is similar to the Dunlop 6109. And this is a really old tube of it. I keep it underneath a sander because that's where I have space for it, so they are appropriately dusty. Those are my two favorite fret sizes, although that said, I have about 10 other sizes. I'm not a big fan of these Evo Gold frets. Frankly, they're really hard to work with. They are absolute murder on my tools, and I've actually blown up a couple of my StewMac clippers clipping those, and don't get me started on stainless steel frets. Those are just flat out miserable to work with, and most of the fret jobs that I have to do are not because the frets themselves have worn out. It's because the frets themselves are heaving from the ends, and stainless steel and gold and anything else is not going to prevent that from happening. Proper humidity control, and by using those two-way humidity packs or any kind of humidity in this time period. Actually, speaking on humidity, I'm going to go on a slight tangent. I just bought some new hygrometers because I'm always trying to test and see what works. I've been told that this other brand is really, really good. I put it up next to my hygrometer, which I have had calibrated last year. I gotta tell you, I'm really disappointed with all of the digital ones that everybody says are really, really good. I'm looking over here and I'm seeing two different readings where I know that the temperature is right. I know that everything is kind of working, but the sensors are just wrong. So anyways, that's my rant. Get yourself a really good manual hygrometer. Digital is not accurate. I think I'm going to return these or just use them as a don't get this. Sorry, side rant. I'm just looking at it and it's really annoying me. All right, second question. What is my source for hide glue? And that's a great question. There's a lot of places you can go. The aforementioned StewMac generally has it. Mohawk generally has it. But the problem is that you don't know which gram strength you're getting. You know, some of these places are starting to get a little bit more enlightened, but generally you just buy hide glue. I like to know what I'm getting because I use different strengths for different purposes. So for my everyday usage, I'm going to be using a 315 gram strength. If I need something that's really, really strong, I'm going to be using like a 379. If I want something that holds, but I don't want it to go crazy, I'm going to be using a 192 high clarity, which, like the name denotes, is a perfectly, it looks like ultra pure honey. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous glue. So I'll be using that for something that I don't want to be stuck super, super hard until the end of time. To answer your question, I use Milligan and Higgins hide glue here. I buy it by the 50-pound sack. When I bought it 12 years ago, I think I paid about $1 a pound. Sure that prices have gone up, but look into this. Previous to Milligan and Higgins, I was getting pyramid glue. You know, they both are really, really good. I find that the Milligan and Higgins doesn't have as much of a horse's butt smell as the pyramid. But I will also say that the pyramid gave me a little bit of a longer working time, gram strength per gram strength. Although that said, the strength is equal. If you don't mind it smelling like a horse, the pyramid will give you a little bit of a extra working time. If you don't like the smell of horses, front or back, use the Milligan and Higgins. But they're both wonderful products that I absolutely love. The next question is, can you give me my opinion on soil boards and top bracing? Should they be the same material or can they be different? In Australia, they use King Billy or King William pine and are braced with Bunya pine. I have very little experience with those particular woods, but I can speak from personal experience that it doesn't matter what you do in terms of top bracing versus top material. If you find something that works, use that. Basically, I'm either using cedar or a similar cousin of cedar for most of my guitars, whether it's spruce or cedar. That said, I have gone the other way around. So I think that what you're trying to do with the guitar is more important. So if you want a slightly warmer tone, but you're using spruce, putting something like cedar with it can help tone that down a little bit. But I think that what is more important is the shape and the mass of the brace itself, rather than just the material alone. So there's a lot of factors that go in. You're not going to have any major issues in terms of humidity, movement, and so on and so forth, because the braces kind of go across the grain, or generally they do. So you've got options. Basically, if it sounds good, go ahead and use it. You'll be fine. All right, next question. Have I built guitars using ebony back and sides or used them? I've not built any, but I have heard plenty of guitars with ebony back and sides. It's heavy. It's very resonant, but not in a good way. It's very aggressively bright. I think a better wood is like a African or Malaysian blackwood. Those have a more rosewood character with that color of the ebony. Next question. I can tell you are a traditionalist kind of guy by the part of your hair. Why, thank you. You're prescient because I just had it cut. I hope. Why no zero fret? Many mandolins, gypsy, long neck guitars use them, pros and cons. I have used a zero fret. I just generally don't like to use a zero fret. And actually, last time I was demonstrating something on a guitar and people commented it had a zero fret, and that was because that's a 29 Hauser that I was using as a demonstrator, because it was, why no zero fret? To me, the zero fret removes some of the setup possibility that you can have for your guitar. When you are raising the action to the first fret with a zero fret, you have to kind of pull the fret, and it's difficult. With a traditional nut, you can also raise or lower it. But the other thing that I like to do with a nut, and I think I've shown this in other videos, is that I don't cut each slot exactly the same height above the fingerboard. I like to have my first and fourth strings be a little bit lower than the others because they're a little bit of a tighter, and the sixth and third strings being a little bit higher based off of typically the brand and the aggressiveness of the player. But I mean, we're talking little tiny amounts, but that's a variability that you can't have with a zero fret. So for me, I like them. I don't mind them. It takes away from the adjustability for the player. Plus, nowadays, most people are so used to seeing a bone or separate material nut. If they see a zero fret, in their mind, they may consciously know it, but subconsciously their mind will just kind of fall off the end. And actually, I saw a very, very good player who has won the GFA. So yes, very good player. He was playing, I know it narrows it down a bit. He was playing on a different Hauser that I had, and went to go shift back, had that zero fret, and he just went woo right off the end. It can happen to the best of you because you're looking and you see the fret and you don't see your kind of end marker. So for me, I don't like guitars with explanations. If I have to explain something, I've kind of failed. So why no zero fret? It's simpler for you and more adjustable. Thanks for the question. I like that. And again, thank you for the compliment on the haircut. I'll tell my stylist. If you think we've earned your like and subscribe, please do so. It really does mean a lot to me. And comment down below on any questions that you have, because that kind of helps drive this channel to give you more information. So with that said, check out this video and this video. I'll see you next time.